Hi FlossTube, it's Jen from Delicious Threads. Today is Monday, June 24th, 2019, and it has been forever since I recorded last. My last video was February 1st, and next week is July 1st, so it's been almost 5 months. I keep saying that I'm going to try to record more often, and I feel like maybe that sets me up for failure because every time I feel like it's longer before I record again. So maybe I shouldn't say that anymore. Just doing my best, jumping back in. It's the best way to get back into making videos if you're taking a break is to just do it. So just gonna do it. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I know that there have been some new people stopping by because they're going to StitchCon and they're checking out FlossTubers that are going to be there. So if that's you, hi. And I hope I get to meet you at StitchCon. Definitely stop by and say hi if you see me. And if you're back for more of this, thanks for coming back to hang out with me. So 5 months is a long time. I've had 6 finishes. One of them is MIA. I looked for it for like half an hour today just before, while I was trying to gather all the things for the video, and I have no idea where it is, so I'm just gonna have to show you a picture of that one. I've worked on lots and lots of whips because I'm still doing magical stitches, and I've been pulling out projects I haven't worked on in months and months and months, sometimes over a year. It's been getting me to like finish things. I'm really close to finishing some bigger projects that had just been languishing, like sitting and doing nothing for a long time that now are like close to finishing. So it's been exciting. What else? I'm going to show you all the stuff I worked on. But, I went to Stitchnanigans in Arizona in April, and I know you've heard about it a ton already, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents worth out there. It was so much fun. I just can't even explain how great it was, and I got to see people that I've gone to other retreats with, people I get to talk to online like every day. I got to meet new people, and it was just the best. So thank you to McKenna for putting that on. It was so much fun, and I can't wait for the next one, right? Next one. What else have I done? I don't know. I guess that's the only big thing. The NorCal Stitchers had a meetup at the beginning of June, and we did like a little potluck, like brunch before going and shop, and that was a lot of fun. I had to leave early, which sucked. I only had, I don't know, maybe like 15 minutes in the shop. I did manage to find one thing to buy, and Abby got that for me, so I'll have that in hand for my next video, which I swear I'm going to make another video. I shouldn't say that because then I set myself up for failure. The next time I see you, I will show it to you. So let's see. Let me show you stuff, and then we'll get to projects because there are a lot of projects, and there's a lot of stuff too, but let's see. So at Stitchnanigans, we got our little pouches. As Abby from Top Knot Stitcher noticed, they were in the colors that matched up with the Harry Potter houses unintentionally. So I got green because I'm in Slytherin for magical stitches. And I was sorted into Slytherin. We got a pattern for Stitchnanigans 2019 designed by Arlene from Works by ABC. I have not stitched that yet. She had her stitched like model of it there, and it was sitting on the table where I was at, and it was so sparkly. She stitched it, I think it was actually like Krynic, I can't remember specifically, but it was a multicolored sparkly thread, and it was gorgeous. I just found the project that I was looking for. Yay! Okay, so all finishes are accounted for. Okay, what else did we get? We got a bunch of things. There were some molded wax thread conditioners that McKenna made, and of course I had to get the one that was shaped like a penis. It is put away in my closet, but I do have one of those. I got my little mini Pepe. My little string came off, so I have to get another one. He doesn't really have a name. I've just been calling him Pepito. I don't know. What else did I get? We got some threads And let's see, we got a couple of these from the Karen collection. They're impressions by Karen, so it's a silk wool blend. So I got a couple of those. Very pretty. They were extras, so that's why I snagged another one. I can't remember all the goodies. Oh, there was like a little crystal that was from a chandelier from the like a playhouse or something in San Francisco. I don't know where mine went. I haven't been able to find it since I got home. So hopefully I still have one. If not, I might be able to talk McKenna into letting me have another one if she still has some. I hope I have them. Yeah, I feel like my stuff is scattered everywhere, so there are probably a lot more goodies than that, and I just don't know where they all are. I have my Shenanigans vinyl logo thing. Well, it's not actually the official logo. This one was made by Jen from JG Squared Decals. She was there. She sat at the table. We pushed 2 tables together, and she was sitting at one of those tables, so I got to talk to her a bit, and she was really fun. Very crafty. I like making vinyl stuff, too, so it's fun to see other people's projects that they've made. What else? There was a freebie table, and I scored on some fabric. This is hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie. Ada. It's a 40. No, it's not Ada. What? Sorry, Ada and linen are both marked. It is a 40 count linen in Diva, and it is sparkly. It's very pretty. And this was on the freebie table, so whoever brought this, I love it. Thank you. I'm going to stitch something for my girls on that, probably. I also got some fabric. So, Emmy from Oregon, she knows Bendy Michelle. She was there and she brought some fabric, and I didn't know that she had brought it. I snagged it when I saw it because the colors are perfect. So I mentioned in my last video that I have a sister who's pregnant with her first child, a little boy. She's actually due next month now. And when I saw this fabric, I was like, this is perfect for making a baby quilt for him. And actually, there's enough fabric I could make like multiple blankets, and definitely a bigger than that baby quilt. But she loves like aquas and lime greens together, and that's kind of the colors that she used to decorate her kitchen in. And so when I saw these, I snagged them. And I was actually only going to take, I think, one of each of these, and somebody was like, no, just take all of them. And so when I was walking back to my table, Emmy saw me and she's like, oh, did you get the fabric? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I told her it was perfect for making a baby quilt for my soon-to-be nephew. And she's like, did you get the squares too? So I got the charm squares also. And these are going to become baby gifts. And I was hoping to have already used them by now, but I have not. It will happen soon. I'm hoping to be able to put together something quick for her, at least by the time the baby comes. He's due mid-July, so after StitchCon and after we have like 4th of July and stuff, I'm going to try to throw together a baby quilt for him, and I'm super excited about doing that. Maybe I'll actually get it quilted too, because it'll be small. What other goodies? I just have like a big basket over here full of fun stuff. I think that's all I got for the freebies. There were tons and tons of things. Oh, there was a raffle, and so you would buy raffle tickets, and there were a whole bunch of items you could get, and I won like the very last thing, and I put a lot of tickets in there. And when we got to the last one, it was a 3-month subscription to the Nest Egg from 3 All Threads from Trisha, and got the bag. Joe had the bag, and I was like, Jen Sabri, Jen Sabri, Jen Sabri, and pulled it out, and he was like, Jen, and then paused. I was like, oh, that's mine. So I did win. So I got 3 months worth of Nest Egg, and I've got the crescent colors. So unfortunately, my subscription's over. I'm kind of on a spending freeze, not really, but I'm trying to not spend too much on cross-stitch stuff because I have a lot already, so I want to try to use more of what I have before I really start buying again. But when I'm done with my semi-spending freeze, I might get the nest egg. So this was the first set that I got, and I was really excited for this Nighty Night. Somebody was using this, I think it might have been at Stitch Nanigans, and it reminded me of, and I actually have one right here, Black Crow. It's a little bit more blue than Black Crow is, see, but they're very similar. So it's kind of like a really dark navy and like almost black, but not quite. And with Black Crow, it's more black with a little bit of navy. So it reminded me of this one, which is one of my favorite threads ever. So I was excited to get that one. And the other ones are gorgeous too. So that was my first set. And then the second set I got, try to get these turned so you can kind of see them. There were a lot of, so it just goes alphabetically. So this one happened to get a lot of pinks and purples. My older daughter's favorite color is pink. The younger one is purple. And so when they saw this set, they got really excited. It's making this look a little brighter than it is in real life, but it's pretty close. And Trisha has more than just Crescent Colors. She has a bunch of different hand-dyed and over-dyed floss companies that she carries. She also has Silks, I believe, and Krynic. So if you need a thread subscription, you should check her out. And I'll put her link down below too. Plus, she's awesome. So this was my most recent one. I just got this the other day. So pretty. So thank you again, Trisha. And I love them. Went to the attic while I was in Arizona, and that was really good. I only got one thing. I wanted to find like a little, or at least a pattern to stitch, because it's been fun. I think I got one when I was in Ohio last for StitchCon, and it's nice to have like a pattern, so then later when I stitch it up, I can kind of remember that I got it when I was at that retreat, and I wanted to get something and kit it up. So I purchased with Thy Needle and Thread by Brenda Gervais, the Holiday Hoopla Easter. This cute little bunny. And I kitted up while I was there, and I used my own colors. They actually didn't have a bunch of the colors that were called for, but it didn't really matter because I wanted mine to be a little brighter than this. And I had some help from friends to pick my colors. And you know what? I'm actually going to show you that later because it's with my finishes. But I wanted to do a different fabric too because this is kind of, I can't remember what it's called for. It doesn't say on this side. I have to pull it out. It's kind of like a grayish color, which I like, but I wanted to do something with more of like a green tinge for it to be springy. So I got this while I was there. It is Confederate gray. Kind of hard to see, but it's like this particular piece looks kind of greenish gray to me, and then I did 28 count because this is the only fabric they had in a color. Like they have a lot of kind of browns and tans and things. I think they probably have mostly like samplers and stuff, so they had not that many options for fabrics with more color. And this actually doesn't have that much color, and Confederate gray is also used a lot for samplers and things, but this was the only piece that called to me. The pattern is charted on 40 count, so I was just planning to have one that was bigger, because it's only, if you stitch it on 40 count, it is 2 3/4 inches wide and high, so that would have been like really tiny. So 28 count was totally fine for me, and I was going to do that. But then when I got back to the stitching room, I saw on the freebie table a piece of fabric that was almost exactly the same color as this, and Abby used her little tool that she got. I don't remember who gave it to her, maybe Lori, Organic Granny, I think. I might be wrong. And that little tool helps you determine the stitch count of a fabric. So I think she determined that it was like 40, but after stitching on it, I think it was actually closer to 36. So it ended up being just slightly bigger than what they had it charted as. And I really like that. So now I have this Confederate gray piece of fabric that I'll use for something else. And if you were part of the retreat and bought something at the attic, they gave you a little corner gauge freebie gift. So thank you to the attic for that. I think that's all the stuff that I got at retreat. I did have a few other things that I have purchased over the last 5 months. Big one, when Picture This Plus put out their new colors for 2019, I went ahead and I just got a piece of each of them. I got a 1/4 yard and 32 count Lagana for each. And this one is Demoiselle. And it's kind of like a pale, it reminds me of like Heroic, but it's a little more blue. Because like it's a light blue base. It's really hard to see. And it has some pink and yellow with it. This one is Heartland. It's not really showing up. It's a little more yellow like this side. Memory. It's like a dusty rose color almost. And the last one is Nessie, and it's kind of like a bluish green. It reminds me of one of their other colors. I can't remember what it's called, but I have a piece of that too. So I have no plans for these, but I wanted to be able to see them in person. I think that the Demoiselle is my favorite, and I could see like fairy or I don't know, mermaid or something on there. So I'll probably use that for project for the girls. I don't know. Other fabric I got, I am planning to start Nightmare by Courtney Collection soon. I was going to do it as like a Courtney Collection stitch along with a couple of friends, and I think one of them already started theirs. Oh, and the other one is Bendy, and she is done with no starts. So I got to talk to them and see if they're ready to start the stitch along. And this is 40 count Dapple from Picture This Plus. This is my favorite gray, and I'm going to be stitching it in gray. So lots and lots and lots of gray. I think that was my plan. Yeah. Almost done with goodies. I don't remember which shop I got these at. I think, oh, you know what? Did I get these when McKenna and Arlene were visiting? I think I got these from Needle in a Haystack when McKenna and Arlene came to visit the San Francisco area. And that's also when I got this Black Crow because I wanted more of it. I used most of mine for my Fatback cats. And then I saw these and they're super pretty. And there were 3 of them, so I just snagged them all. And this is Threadworks, and I don't know the color name, but the number is 1139. And it's kind of reminds me of like a peacock, reminds me of mermaids, so I'll find something to use that on at some point. My last purchase, I think, for during the time off was the whale kit, the Russian whale kit from Out Forest Embroidery. Got this from McKenna at 1884 Stitchery. I'll put a link down below. I know that she reorders these, so if you go and they're sold out, she will get more, but it does take time because they come from Russia. So this is going to be a StitchCon New Start. And I believe that Abby, Top Knot Stitcher, is going to be starting with me. It comes with the fabric. I think this is 32 count. It's kind of like a yellowy color. It has threads. They're either hand-dyed or over-dyed. They're really pretty. Comes with a needle and a needle minder. And, oops, the pattern. And it all comes in this little box, which is pretty cool. So this is going to be a new start. I am not sure if I'm going to use this fabric. I have a lot of 32 count Lugana from Picture This Plus. I just have a big box of it. So I'm going to go through that and see if there's another color that I like better. There's a lot of yellow in the stitching, so I'm not sure if I want to stitch it on the yellow. I mean, the fabric's fine, but I tend to go toward grays or kind of like aqua colors. Oh, I wonder if that fabric that that Abby got for me will work. That might be too bright. So I'm going to go through my stash. Like I said, I have a big box from Picture This Plus where I got pretty much every single color in their last Christmas in July sale. And I've just been hoarding it in my closet, and whenever I need to pick out fabric for something, I sit down and I get to play with all the fabric again, and I find something in there that will work. So this is charted on 32 count. That's what I have. So I'm just going to sit down probably tonight because I need to start packing. And usually I save my projects for last, and then I'm like frantic and I end up not taking things that I really wanted to bring with me that I kind of forgot about, or I just take the things that are like close by that are already kitted up or started, and I know that I want to stitch this, and I know that I probably will change out the fabric, so I want to make sure I have time to do that, so I'll probably do it tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna sit down with my box of fabrics and pick something. So the next time I'm here, I'll show you what I chose for that. So that's it for all the goodies. God, that was a long time talking about goodies. Let's talk about projects. So like I said, I had 6 finishes. I had like big chunks of finishes. So in April, I actually finished 4 things. And then so far this month, I've finished 2 things. And I'm hoping to get at least another finish, maybe 2, before the end of this month. And I think I can do it. So we'll see. My first finish that you have not seen yet is Ink Circles, a Ghostly Mandala. And I don't remember where I was last time. If I have a picture, I'll put it in here. And I was going to say I don't know which way is up, but it doesn't really matter because it's the same all the way around. This is stitched on Picture This Plus pewter in 32 count Lugana. And I stitched it using Anchor Black floss. And I love it. These things, like, when you first start them, it feels like you're not really getting anywhere, and then all of a sudden, it feels like you're just getting a bunch done. And I stitched on this a lot for Magical Stitches homework, and so that was really nice because it motivated me to get back to work on this one. And I've been working on another one of the mandalas. So I do have all 4. I'm going to stitch all 4. And then frame them, or at least display them together. Next one was I'm Actually a Mermaid, and this is a Clouds Factory pattern. So this one, it was done. I had told myself it was done, and then I decided that there was a lot of dead space because in the pattern there's like a fish here and like a turtle, and I didn't like those, so I left them off. But then I felt like it needed something else, so what I did was I picked out at Needle in a Haystack. When McKenna and Arlene were there, I asked favors. I asked like people like, hey, which of these petite treasure braids do you think would work? And so I ended up picking one. I think it was the one that McKenna was like, yeah, pick that color. And I did these little bubbles. And the bubbles are actually charted, and I think I added in a couple extra things because I was missing the fish and the turtle. But for the most part, I followed the pattern for that, and you can't really tell that it's sparkly. And then in this clamshell, there's like a little pearl, and I had just stitched that in white, but I pulled it out, and then I stitched that in the petite treasure braid too. So now this is officially done, and I can get it finished up to probably put in my girls' room. Originally, I was stitching it for my sister, but I think now it's probably too cutesy, so the girls would like it because they have a mermaid room. Next one was the project that I thought was missing, and it was Fat Bat Cat 2, and I think I have a picture from before, and if I do, I'll put it in here. And it's done. This is stitched on a sparkly natural colored linen. It was one that I just kind of got in a grab bag at some point, and I used the called for colors. I think though I did not for the green eyes and the pink nose, and I think the white. I think I just used regular DMC for those, because like there are 2 green stitches and like 3 pink stitches, so I didn't think I needed to have the overdyed flosses for that. I did my first version of this on like an aqua colored fabric from Pictures Plus called Glacier. And this one, I wanted to have the sparkly fabric. I thought it would look nice on this. So this is going to be a gift for my sister. She has an orange stripy kitty like this. So I'm sure she will love it. This was a finish for Stitch Shenanigans. And I'm counting it as a Stitch Shenanigans finish. I actually finished it the night that I got there, which was the night before the official start, but I'm counting it. Oops, dropping things. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I did a little ornament. This is one of those little Mill Hill kits. I think this was one of the new designs from last year. Sleigh ride, and this is a celestial sleigh, so it has like a moon and stars. And here's mine. And I did finish it with some felt on the back, but I was trying to find my glue, my like craft glue, and I couldn't find it. But I needed to finish this for homework for Magical Stitches. So I did stitch this on the back to make sure it was fully finished. But I think I am going to go back when I find my craft glue and go ahead and glue it back on. And this is the first time I've actually made the little hanger with the beads that you're supposed to do, or they give you instructions for how to do it in the kit. And I like it. So I have a couple others that I've stitched up. I'm going to go back and do a little bead hanger too. That one stitched up pretty quickly, and it looks really awesome because it has the like silver detail stitches in the middle. That was probably my favorite part, to see it kind of come alive there at the end. Another one that I finished, so those were all April finishes. So the 2 things I finished so far in June. The first one is an Emblem of Friendship, and this is a Blackbird Designs pattern. And this is one that I am doing a stitch along with friends, and I'll put a picture in of what the example looks like. And you'll see on there it has initials stitched around the vine heart, and we are going to be adding our initials. So some of the other ladies are going to be at StitchCon, so I'm bringing mine so they can stitch their initials on there. Most of us have this beautiful purplish silk, and it's a Silks For You silk that Michelle from Australia got for us. She also got our fabric. And mine has some personalizations because I made a counting error somewhere over here, so this side of my heart is kind of squished in a little bit, but I made it work. It's still a heart, and it will still have all of the same meaning. We picked our own colors for what we were going to do the words in, and I think I'm going to have the initial stitched in that same kind of aqua color. That is also a Silks For You floss that I got in like a grab bag. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to have the initials stitched in that color, or I have a Silks For You kind of like charcoal gray that I might bring, and I'll have to decide at the time. And this is a needle minder that Diana from It Is Kismet Stitches gave us to use on our projects. So this is probably my favorite finish so far this year. And my last finish is my Easter hoopla that I got in Arizona. So it's not ironed, and this fabric is kind of weird. I don't know what it is. It's kind of stiff, but yeah, it really needs to be ironed. So this is my finish. So I brightened up the green and the blue especially. My brown also is a little bit more vibrant. And the flowers call for 2 different pinks, and I used the same pink. I just ended up using one, even though I bought 2. So the colors I don't know where my blue is that I used for the bunny shirt, but I used Weeks Dye Works Graphite for the watering can. I used Classic Colorworks Steamed Broccoli for the green, and then all of the pink is done with Classic Colorworks House Wine. And it varies from like a darker pink to a lighter pink, so I was able to get some good variation in the flowers. And like I said, I don't know what the blue one is or the brown one. I had those somewhere else because I finished stitching those first. So I had a start and a finish there. Actually, Emblem of Friendship was also a start and a finish. So that's it for all of my finishes. Oh, I do have another project over here. Okay, so this one, I think I did stitch on it a little bit since February. I pulled out my Gypsy Mermaid, and this is one that I was stitching, or I am stitching for my sister. And I think I did some more of the skin, and I did that for one of the homework things for Magical Stitches. And while I was at Stitch Shenanigans, I was talking to people about Mirabilias, we were talking about stitching skin 1/1, and I was talking about how I just really don't think I like it, and how I was having a hard time pulling this project out because I just don't enjoy stitching 1/1 skin. Like, I understand the aesthetic of it, I understand that it looks smoother, but the actual stitching of it, I don't enjoy. And I really want to finish this project. So what I am planning to do to make it so that I want to work on this and that I will actually finish it, is I'm going to pull all that skin out and restitch it 2/2. And then blending the threads is going to be a lot easier. So I'm not looking forward to pulling this out, but I do have plans to use this for, I can't remember if it's, oh, I think it's one of the extra credit stitching things for Magical Stitches, where you stitch on something that you would find in the Black Lake. And so I'm doing it because it's a mermaid. So the next time you see this, that skin will be gone, and hopefully I'll have some new skin in its place. Hopefully I'm not totally insane for wanting to take that out. All those teeny tiny stitches are a little intimidating for ripping out, so I'm gonna have to be very careful. Hopefully it won't ruin my fabric, but I'm committed now. I'm gonna do it. Let's see. This is my bag of projects that I've been working on. Some of them I don't know where I was before. If I have a beginning picture, I'll try to insert it while I'm talking, but you can just see it now. So this first one is my Happily Ever After Sal from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this one, I know I've done a lot of work on it. Let's see if I can get this to come off. And I am almost done. So I think last time I had most of the top part done, so I'm not really going to worry too much about pulling that out. All I have left is this little corner over here. So, like I said, I don't remember where I was, but I know I've stitched like all of these since the last time I showed it to you. And I think this one too, I finished up. So this one's really close. This is one of the projects I said I'm hoping I'll be able to finish this month, or at least soon. I've been stitching on this one for a while, and it's going to be nice to have it done. Opens up some headspace for thinking about other projects. Okay. These are all bags that I made for myself too. These are ones that I did as like prototypes when I was trying to decide on what my pattern sizes would be. And I love them. I wish I could get more of this fabric. It was a fabric I got at Joann's a couple years ago, and I only had 1 yard of it. So I made like 5 bags out of that 1 yard, but now it's gone, and it makes me sad because I wish I had more. The next project I have here is Halloween Cat. This is by Satsuma Street. I know that I finished the top of the moon recently, and I did these clouds here. And I think I started on the bottom of the cat. And I can't remember. I know I did these semi-recently too. I'm not sure if that was before or after the last time you saw it. This one's fun. Down here, there are, I think, 2 other cats and some pumpkins, and then like filling in the cat going up. This one is nice because it has like blocks of color, even though some of them are like tiny blocks, but having blocks of color makes it go by faster. I don't know, for some people it makes it drag, but for me, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just fill in this block with this color, and it works for a lot of the homework assignments too, so it makes counting easy. I didn't think I would enjoy counting stitches for magical stitches, and I don't really, but it's also not as bad as I thought it was going to be. This is a spirited mandala by Ink Circles. I had a teeny tiny start last time I showed it to you. I think I just had some of this middle part, and I've continued up to this quadrant. And I love these one color projects, and just seeing the picture come to life. I haven't started the other 2 yet, so I'm going to wait until I finish this one to start the other ones. Next up is Wandas Witchery. This is a Mill Hill kit. It's one of the buttons and beads. This one's super cute. And it comes with the navy perforated paper. I made my own floss card for this one too. I don't know if I've shown it to you before. I did all the little symbols. Some of them I had to hand draw, some of them I was able to find on the computer, and then I just punched holes and then separated them out that way. A lot of these Mill Hill kits, they'll have threads that are like really close in color, and so then you kind of have to like count how many threads are in there because they tell you how many threads they included so that you can separate them out, and then that makes it so much easier for me to find them later when I'm looking. So last time you saw this, or I'll just say, what I've worked on since last time, I know I did this green here and this green up here, and I started filling in the border around there. I'm not sure if there were other things. So this one's getting kind of close. I am using it for one of the homework assignments for Magical Stitches. I pulled this one out as something that I hadn't worked on in at least 6 months. And when I was doing that, it was kind of funny. I was thinking about all my projects, and I'm pretty sure that at least 50% of my like 26 projects haven't been worked on in at least 6 months. So it was kind of like, oh, well, I still have a lot of choices. So I'm probably going to take this one with me to StitchCon. I know that it has beading, and some people are like, oh, I wouldn't want to bead at retreat, but I don't mind. And this is I like having some smaller projects, especially if you don't want to be like taking up a lot of room. I'm not taking a stand or anything, so whatever I'm going to be stitching on, I have to hold. So it'll be good to have some smaller projects to take a break from having to hold my Q-snap. I started Hands-On Designs Year in Chalk September, and it says Summer Don't Go, with some lightning bugs in the middle. And we don't actually get lightning bugs where I am, but stitching this actually gives me a memory of StitchCon from last year, because Michelle from Australia, she hadn't seen lightning bugs before, and I know that she got to see some when they were out for a walk one evening, and got to see videos of that, and it was like this big, like fun, exciting thing. So when I stitch this, I think of her. And I'm getting close to finishing. I will probably also bring this one because it is a smaller project, and holding this is going to be easier than holding my Q-snap. And I'll probably bring another one of the months because this one I can probably finish pretty quickly. It is darker fabric, and I know some people have a hard time stitching on dark fabric, but I'll put usually the pattern like on my legs because following this is pretty easy, and then I'll have the white behind it to kind of make the holes easier to see. Otherwise, I usually will just put light underneath. Like if I have a Q-snap, I usually use a book light clip to it, and so I'll just clip it so that it goes behind instead of being in front, and then that's usually enough light for me to be able to see the dark fabric. Oh, Death by Cross Stitch. Okay, so Long Dog Samplers, Death by Cross Stitch. I don't know if I'll ever finish this in my lifetime, but this is another project that was just sitting, not getting any attention at all, and that was because I had accidentally grabbed the wrong color silk. So I had 2 hanks of silk from Silks For You, and one was charcoal gray, which was the color I was using for this project, and another one was more like a black with like a little bit of lighter spots, but it was darker. And that one I was using for my tombstone sampler that I finished a while ago. And somehow I mixed up the bags when I was like putting things away or something. And so I accidentally grabbed some of the black to stitch on this. And I'll put in a picture of what it looked like before I took all those threads out. And I agonized about whether to just leave it and maybe add in some of the darker black throughout the project, or to just not worry about it and keep stitching in the gray. Then there was just going to be that darker spot and like, don't care. But I knew that I just needed to take it out. So finally I did, and I started stitching again with my dark gray. And I am so happy that I did, because now I want to stitch on this. I stitched on it a little bit for Magical Stitches, and then it's been put away and I'm working on other stuff. This fabric is gigantic, so that tiny little bit does not look like much. Also, this project, and like knowing how much happier I was after I took out the threads that were not right, makes me feel a little bit better about my decision to take out the skin on my mermaid and restitch those, because just knowing that I have this other project that I have feel totally differently about now that I have made it better for me, makes me feel good about that. So next one is Primitive Ouija Board. This is by Clouds Factory. If I have a before picture, I'll put it in here. And this one I've had to rip stitches out of too. This corner, I had some issues before, but those have been fixed, and I've been stitching down going across this way. This one is definitely going with me to StitchCon. It fits 2 of the homework assignments for this coming week. One is supposed to stitch something that has like a graveyard scene, and there are going to be like some tombstones and stuff in here. And another one is to stitch on like black or gray, so this is in black. This is on Pansy by Pictureless Plus in 32 count Lugana, and I'm stitching it using Anchor Black. I definitely like Anchor Black more than I like DMC Black. I have multiple projects that I'm using it on. I actually just got, I think it was like a 20 pack or something on eBay, and I've been using it for all kinds of things, and I love it. Last project, oh my gosh, we're in the home stretch. This one sat for a long time, and again, it's all of my projects where they like sit and sit and sit. It's because there's like some sort of decision I'm trying to make. So do I fix this thing? Do I do this other thing? With this one, I knew that I wanted to add in some other colors. So in the chart, you know what? This is what it's supposed to look like finished if you stitch it in the charted way. And I like reds, the green is nice too, but I wanted to have some pops of blue. And I got some help at Needle and Haystack once to help me pick what my blue color would be, and I loved it, and I was so excited to figure out where I wanted to put it in the chart or in my pattern. And then I was just having anxiety and like decision fatigue about where to put things, and so then I put it off, and it sat and didn't get stitched on. So this is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like currently. The color blue I'm using is Weeks Dye Works Ocean, and it's like a dark turquoisey color. It actually matches the chair I'm sitting in like perfectly. This is one of my colors. So since I picked this up, I actually just picked this up a couple days ago to do some homework on. I've stitched both blue sections, this little section here, and I've started this design here. And I am really happy with this color. I finally decided on a couple of the motifs that I'm going to use this on. I'm just going to stitch those in there now and then figure out the rest later, and just finally making a decision and saying, I'm going to start with this one. Helped me pull this out and get it done. The other colors are all the called for colors from the pattern, and I'm stitching on the called for fabric, which is called Stars Hollow, and I think it's I don't remember what the design or what the company is. I think it's like R&R or something like that. So I'm loving this one. 1/1 on, no, sorry, 1/2 on 40 count. This was my first 40 count fabric, and I just really love stitching with one thread. I like don't get all the crazy tangles or anything. But yeah, so I'm really liking this one. And this one might come with me. I like it because it's on lighter fabric. So I try to have some lighter fabric, especially if I'm going to have some dark fabric things. Just so that I have options. I've seen a lot of posts on the group for StitchCon with people asking, like, how many projects are you bringing? And a lot of people are like, I'm bringing 3. And I'm like, I'm probably going to end up bringing a ton. I will probably just bring, like, a set of Q-snaps, like, broken apart so I can make whatever sizes I need, and then just pack all of the projects with just the fabric and chart and threads so that they can pack up more compactly. And then I can bring more stuff. Of course, I might buy stuff while I'm there too. You never know. So that's it for all of my cross-stitching stuff. Last time we talked, I actually showed you a quilt that I was going to start. There's a quilt along. It's called the Meadowland quilt, and the pattern's by Then Came June. And this is what the pattern looked like charted. And at the time that I showed you, I hadn't picked my fabrics yet. And I'm going to put in a picture of the fabrics that I chose. And I picked like a fabric bundle so that all of the fabrics would be coordinated and I wouldn't have to think about it too much. And then I used solid white for my accent piece, or like my background. So this is the stack of my blocks. I have not sewn them together. They are so pretty. I love them so much. I'm not going to show you all of them. I do have some pictures. Maybe I'll do like a little photo collage here of just the stacks of the blocks that I made. So next step is sewing my quilt top together. And I do have a backing fabric for it too. I'll show you at some point. But that one was a lot of fun to put together, and it was fun just to see the blocks come together because they're like such like mixtures of the different colors and the different prints. So let's see. What else? Oh, shop stuff. I have been posting my needle minders back into the albums in my Facebook group, and it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of designs, so I knew it would take a while, but it's taking a lot longer than I thought. My kids, I've been spending a lot of time with them for summer, so we've been doing a lot more together than I thought we would, and we've been having a lot of fun. So that's kind of been like on the back burner, and I've just been trying to post whenever I can. I obviously won't be posting while I'm at StitchCon, but when I get back, and then after like 4th of July, that like end of the week, I'm gonna not really do that much through that weekend after 4th of July. But then after that, I'm getting the rest of the needle minders in the group, and I'm gonna start working on some bags again. So keep a lookout for those. I also have some ideas for some other little things to include in the group that I'm kind of having fun making. So those will come out whenever I have enough stuff made. So new things coming. I think that's it. That was a lot. If you are still with me, thank you for hanging in there, and thanks for hanging out with me. If you're going to StitchCon, stop by and say hi. I will warn you now, though, I am really bad with remembering names, and it's something that I know that I'm not great with, and I try really hard, but please don't be offended if I have met you before and I don't remember your name, or I don't know, but just know that it's not you, and I'm really excited to meet all of you. So until next time, happy stitching.